Hey guys, welcome back. My name's Stu and this is Galadriel Heights for Rollercoaster Tycoon Classic, another scenario from Blazing Empire HD. On this very sandy desert, a small park has arose. Your job is to rank in customers. Without money, you shall find of ease. Your objective, to have at least 2,700 guests in your park. You must not let the park rating drop below 700 at any time. Okay, so another no money scenario. And you know what? I'm starting to lighten up on these. Okay. Thanks for telling me that. Don't need that. In case you're wondering what that was, for some reason, that guest was selected. So all you need to do that, you click on the guest, you click on the eye, and then every time they do something or think something or go somewhere, it'll flash up and tell you. But we don't need to see that. So yeah, I'm starting to lighten up on these scenarios. Because yeah, whilst no money scenarios aren't really that challenging, it does give you an opportunity to take your time building rides, making the place look nice and that sort of thing. So, yeah, so we've got a huge amount of space and we've got some rides that are already in the park. There's a giga coaster and a wooden coaster and a mine train coaster and some flat rides. Yeah, I'm going to get rid of them. Absolutely. Getting rid of them, definitely. So let's see what we got then. We've got some transport rides. We've got some gentle rides, coasters, rail rides, water rides, and loads of shops, which is cool because there's no money, we can't dictate what we want to research. So normally you can prioritize different things, but with this you can't. It's just random. So what I'm going to do then, I'm going to get rid of, I'll leave the rest of the stuff for nowsies. I'm going to get rid of the mine train, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and I'm going to tidy up the paths, connect these two gates up because we've got two entrances or exits if you're a pessimist. Connect them up, add some shops and things like that because guests love free stuff. So if you chuck enough food and stalls down, they're going to be happy. So you haven't got to worry about that 700 rating or whatever it was. What was it? It was 700. Yeah, you haven't got to worry about that. As long as you put loads of free stuff down, you're never going to have any issues unless you make some sort of mistake with the pathing or like I've done in the past, delete a bit of pathing or put a no entry sign the wrong way and trap them or something like that. But yeah, my immediate goal then is to turn this first island into a nice little starter park to keep the guests entertained so I can get rid of the rest of the rides. October, year one, over 800 guests in the park. So we've connected up these bits. We've got rid of the mine train. I've built a nice side friction coaster there. I'll show you that in a moment. So when we come in then, we've got a monorail. This might be the first ride guests want to go on. So at the moment, all we want to do is build a nice high capacity ride. Let's zoom out, might be easier, although it does look a bit poor when you zoom out. So it just goes around. The track itself is just a placeholder. It's just a nice high capacity ride to get rid of the guests for a bit. Just get the guests, get them out of my sight. In a few minutes, they can come back. How many minutes? Almost 2. Okay, so I'm probably going to add more stations at some point as we fill out the rest of the park, but for nowsies, that's fine. 3D cinema and a helicopter ride just there. Guests loving that. Loads of shops and things, seating areas. Cool. And then we've got the side friction coaster then. I've forgotten to name it. Well, I'm doing that a lot lately. Yeah, so with these, the trick is to not kill people. That's basically it. You don't want them going too fast over a hill or too fast over a tight bend. If you do that, you'll be fine. So yeah, good stats on that. Since there's no money, it makes sense just to add to make sure that the ride length is over 2,000 feet. I mean, the excitement rating is quite low. We can always boost that, but just in case it's harder guest generation, it just makes it a lot easier to do. So yeah, we've done that bit. So now I think it'll be nice to branch out over to this side, or probably this side first, and then start building rides there, and then just carry on. We're probably gonna, probably go this side first, this corner, and then branch around, do a nice path loop over to here, and then as I come over here, then I'll get rid of these rides because they're just in the way, and they're not going to fit with the rest of the park. October, year 2. We've got a nice little bridge there, tons of stalls, and we've got a mine train coaster as well. Underminer there. Have we named the side friction? We have. It's called Frick Frack. So I was thinking about friction, and it's a side friction, and I just thought Frick Frack. I don't know what it means. So yeah, the mine train then. Underminer. Now I'm pretty sure that was the name of a cool game that I had back in like the 80s on the Commodore VIC-20, which is like a weird breakout variant where you had like I'm sure there was bricks on both sides, and if it went through the bricks, you'd drown. Anyway, so yeah, cool stats on that. It comes out, goes around, up here, drops down, around a bit, a tunnely bit, and then another chain lift. And because the good things about these is that they kind of like the extra chain lifts in real life, you know? You think of Thunder Mountain and stuff like that. They've all got multiple chain lifts. So yeah, and then at the end then we've got this little bit that comes down for the turnaround. And look, another monorail station. So that's the second station. So I'm sure the stats have reduced on that. Probably because one of the ride lengths is really short and one of them's quite long. So yeah. Yeah, so it just carries on down. I've done the path loop coming back, another little pretty bridge, and look, all the rides have gone. So yeah, so what we're going to do is just fill in inside the paths, and then once we've sort of almost filled it, or I don't want to cram them in too much because we've got such a huge park, and then we're just going to build some extra path loops. Oh, hello. Get him over there. There you go. Or her. And we'll build some more paths over here. Maybe another little pretty bridge just there. Maybe another one here. And then loop down here. And then we'll have another couple of sections then along this side to build paths, to build rides inside and outside. October, year 3, 1,555 guests. So only about 1,100 and something to go then. And we've got a splash boats, and I've done something that I've been doing quite a bit recently, where I've been doing 2 stations and giving it like a 2-for-1 sort of ride. It's not really 2-for-1 because you have to get off and then get back on the other station, but you've got like a big boy ride or big girl ride this side then, and then you've got the smaller one then, the sort of the junior one this side, which is pretty cool. And then down here, we've got a twist, we've got a top spin, and look, Giga Coaster. So it launches you out, kind of like a top hat. You can't really do them on the Giga Coasters, not in this version anyway. And then we got a bit of coaster spaghetti, and then it comes back to the station. It's called Tangled. Nothing to do. I just want my lawyers want me to point out it's nothing to do with a certain House of Mouse film. It's just the fact that there's a bit of spaghetti. So anyway, good stats on that. We've got a merry-go-round just up here. We've got a sim ride. Have I shown you that? I'm not sure. And then we've got them shops up there. Again, no, I haven't because I've only just built it. And some pretty bridges all in a row. And yeah, it's looking great. I think so. Anyway, we've got spaces here, there, and everywhere to add things, in, and tons of space on the outside. I think we'll probably have one more path loop, or probably 2. We'll extend down towards the darker sand colour where the trees are, and the same down this side. And then we'll have a couple more rides then on the inside and outside. And by that point, we should be getting fairly close to the goal because it's only 2,700. So once we get up to around 2,500, maybe a bit less, we're going to start being quite mindful, keeping one eye on the guest counter, and not taking on any big projects, because it's quite easy for the guest numbers to get away from, to come in really quickly, especially if you start winning awards. October, year 4, almost 2,000 guests in the park, and we've got a spiral coaster just there called Dust Devil, like a storm, I think they are. And yeah, so it's got a couple of like cylinder tower things. It goes around. Guess I love that sort of stuff. Good stats on that. And then we've got a suspended coaster just over here called Desert Flight. So I made use of, because it's a no money scenario, you have got the mounting tool. So if I go over here somewhere where it doesn't really affect anything, press down, then press the smaller square, and you see it changes, and then that gives you the mounting tool. So you can change things. You can't do it on normal modes because it's probably because if you did it in a scenario where you've got cash, you'll quite easily wipe out all your cash. It's very, very easy to do. So yeah, comes out. I added this a little bit just so I've got some extra depth, so I could make it drop down a little and then come up. So we've got a nice diagonal chain lift for a change, and then comes down a few tight bends because you've got to get the lateral G's up quite high, not too high, but high enough to satisfy the stat criteria. Anyway, guests loving that. What was your overall? 7.2. Awesome. And with these stations, see that one there and that one there, we got a little gap where we've got a palm tree. Awesome. And then we've seen the Giga Coaster, so we've got the path loop just up here, going down to there for future expansion. And we've got another monorail station. I'm probably going to reduce the number of trains. Excitement's gone up. So we've got 6 trains, but they've got such high capacity. We don't need that many. We've got 3 stations. So I figure it'll probably be better if we have it on, we'll do it now. We'll have it on 4 trains, and then make sure we've got wait for full load, but leave if another train arrives at the station. That way, you should really only, you might have all 3 trains at a different station, and then 1 extra train then go in between, and then that'll knock the other one on and stuff. So hopefully guests won't have to wait too long then. Cool. Yeah, so we've got space here for a big coaster, space here for some smaller rides, space on the outside here, a space here, and a space here. We only need another 700 guests, so will we have a chance to fill it all? Who can say? October, year 5, and we've got Hyena wooden coaster. So I've just been playing about. Oh, no, not good enough. As I was saying, I've just been playing around with the time ends to get the block sections working right, and I thought it was. It is just it's just one of those things that as soon as we go live, it just proves me wrong. So we've got Hyena wooden coaster just here, good stats on that, and then we've got a 3D cinema just there, second one, but we've named them after the different film that they're showing. So it's fine. If you think in real life, you look at things like Disney, Star Tours is a motion simulator ride. Now, inside that, they might have 9 separate motion simulators. So, real parks duplicate, don't worry. They've got 2 Dumbos in Disney as well, right next to each other. So, that's basically 2 twists. So, all it is one of, where is it? One of these, but with elephants. Okay, it might go up and down a bit, but whatever. What else have we got? We got observation tower just there, and then we've got swinging inverter ships. I've called them, and I've done this in the last few scenarios, but I haven't mentioned it. I don't know why I keep forgetting. Tandemonium. So tandem because there's 2 of them, and it's a play on words of pandemonium, which is, if I remember correctly, the swinging inverter ship, it's a dual swinging inverter ship in Drayton Manor Park. yeah. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I remember in the 90s, I went there and I must have gone on, I marathoned it. I probably went on it about 15 or 16 times and I was really ill that night. Probably would do it again if I was that age. And we've got a load of golf courses. So where there's a little space, what I've done is I've been putting the little golf courses down. Just need to put some fences around that. Single hole on each one. I've named them all. So that's hole 4. There you go. Hole 1 there. So any guests who like a bit of golf, they can wander around and they can do that. Cool. Yeah. So we got 2,400 guests. So only another 300 to go then. So as I said, no major projects now. It's just going to be small rides, small coasters, that sort of thing. Something quite quick to build because otherwise we're just going to get bogged down in the middle of something and we're going to end up passing the goal without even noticing or having to abandon that project to pass the goal. August, year 6, and we've got 2,687 guests. We need 2,700, so we are going to pass the goal very soon. And we've got an inverted shuttle just here. Cool. Safari shuttle, good stats on that. High intensity for the guests that like that sort of thing. So because of that, I've put a first aid stall on the exit path for that. 12 more guests. And look, have you noticed? I've replaced the monorail for a train track. I'll mention that in a second. And then we've got a wild mouse called Desert Rat. High stats on that. Takes you up, takes you down, goes up and over the bridge, back under, and then back around and twists and turns and stuff and back to the start. And then we've got, as I said, we've replaced the monorail for a train. So one thing I've done on a recent scenario where we had a train going around the park is I exported the finished park, loaded it up onto the legacy version of OpenRCT2 where I can export back to Classic. And then I've just gone around doing some quick little bits of scenery using the tree spamming tool and things like that in order to make the place look really cool. And then I'll do a separate video on that, calling it a scenic railway, which I've done in the past, but then I never stuck with it and didn't do any others. Stew, but I figure that would be quite a cool thing to do. Awesome sauce for like future videos where there's like a little gap in the schedule or something. I could just drop one of them in like a midweek. I never got round to doing that fence. Must be the only one. I've got to do it. I've got to do it, guys. I can't not do it. It's gonna eat me alive. If I don't, I'll be waking up in the middle of the night thinking, why won't it let me do that? Why won't it let me do that? Placing fences with Stu. I'll be as quick as I can. I will be as quick as I can. Honestly. Don't go anywhere. How's that? Cool. Yeah. So that wasn't a bad scenario. That was kind of fun. As I said before, I don't usually like these no cash scenarios. I've hated on them quite a lot in the past, but you know what? I think my mindset's starting to change. When I first started doing this, I was always trying to smash the scenarios. And you know what? I just think that really what I should have been focusing on is making for a better park and a better video. But that's, you live and learn, and that's something I can do from now on. So anyway, this was Galadriel Heights. Also, before I do the outro, I've been tinkering around a bit because I started using a new using Shortcut for editing, and it's annoying because I did use it. I used it a couple of years back, and it's raining, so it's a good job. I waffled on a bit rather than doing the outro. I did use it a couple of years back for a Christmas video, but then I never carried on using it. But I'm so glad I've switched to it now because there's so many cool things you can do. And one of the cool things that hopefully I'll do on this video is do some little tips that might pop up, and hopefully I've done it, and otherwise you're going to be thinking, what? That makes no sense. But if I have and you think it looks cool, let me know. Anyway, so let's just wait for it to stop raining then. Thunder. Remember in that park where we had to do the shop sales, and I smashed it, and then we put down the umbrellas, see how much you could take, and then it just didn't rain, even though it'd been raining for ages. Okay, someone did ask if they could see like a zoomed out version of the park. I did say that when you zoom out, it looks terrible, especially in the rain. It probably does look really bad. It probably, the YouTube sort of compression probably doesn't help. So yeah, that's why I don't do that, because that's the way it looks. I could do it with screenshots. Obviously, it would be static. That's something I might try. But for now, it stopped raining. So this was Galadriel Heights. I've been Stu. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!